Hello everyone. Today we have been asked to design calendar booking system. So let's see what the question states. So the question states, let's see what the question states. Basically, here we have been asked to design a calendar booking system where users can add a new booking, right? So we should be able to add the new booking. We should be able to provide for the user to add a new booking. First one. The second one is users can check if a booking can be added without overlapping, right? This is the second one. So users should be able to check if a booking can be added without overlapping. So quite obviously booking can be added without booking should be added without overlapping, right? So that one we have to provide. The third one is here we have to view the existing bookings. So we should be able to view, the user should be able to view the existing bookings, right? So these three things they have asked us to do. This is the subpart basically. Mainly what we have been asked to do here, we have to design a calendar booking system where users can add a new booking, check if a booking can be added without overlapping, view existing bookings, right? So I'll just comment out this one. You can just read this one, right? Now I hope the question is completely clear. First let's discuss the UML diagram followed by this one, followed by things to consider. So first let's discuss the UML diagram, then let's see what are the things that we should consider before writing the code. These two things we will do first, then after that we'll be writing the code and then discuss the complexities for the code that we have written, and then the final thing, future scope. Let's discuss the future scope. First, as usual, let's discuss the UML diagram first. So let's discuss things to consider first, then let's go with the UML diagram here, right? So first thing that we need to consider here is time overlap checks. So just give me a second. So here just give me a second, what happened to this one? So time overlap checks means we have to avoid the booking conflicts here. So we should be able to avoid the booking conflicts. This one we have to keep in mind. So the second one here is efficient lookup. When I say efficient lookup, we should support thousands of bookings, right? So we should be able to support thousands of bookings. This one also we have to keep in mind. So let's go with the third one here. Third one, nothing but the support for multiple users. When I say support for multiple users, this is optional basically. This is optional. This is not mandatory. Basically, when I say support for multiple users, for the future scaling, we have to support for the multiple users, right? So this is nothing but just optional, right? You can consider this one as well. Let's go with the fourth one. This one, single or multi-day events. When I say single or multi-day events, so calendar may span across days, right? Calendar may span across days. So we have to go with single or multi-day events. We should consider that as well. So the final one here is data storage. When I say data storage, I'm speaking of the persistence, right? So for the persistence in memory, I'm speaking of the in memory here, right? So we have to consider the data storage as well. So these are the 5 things that we need to consider here, right? So let's go with the UML diagram here. So here the main class is this one. What do we call? Calendar booking system. This I'm speaking of. The main class is calendar booking system. This one. This is main class. So I'll just write here main class, right? So this is the main class here, calendar booking system. Within the calendar booking system, we have the this one, attribute meetings, right? So we have the attribute meetings, nothing but we will be making use of the we'll be going with the type tree set. So we will be going with the type tree set. So I can just write in this way. This meetings is, this is the single attribute we'll be considering within calendar booking system main class. So this is of the type tree set. So basically tree set within the this one angle brackets, I'll just give meeting here, right? So here in this case we have two methods. One is we'll be going with the add meeting as well as get all meetings. So these are the two methods we'll be going with basically, right? So this within this add meeting we have start and end, which are both of basically they both are of the type integers, right? And the second one, get all meetings, we will be creating the array list for that. List of meeting, we'll be going with the list of meeting, right? So these two methods will be making use of. One is add meeting and the second one is get all meetings, right? So these are the two methods that we'll be going with, and this one is basically attribute. We'll be making use of the meetings attribute within the calendar booking system. So next one, this we will be going with the meeting class. So this is the main class. The second class here is meeting. So this is the second class here, meeting. So within the meeting class we have two attributes basically to consider. One is start and another one is end. So both start and end are of the type integer. So here both start and this one end are of the type integer, right? So int. So we will be considering two methods within the meeting class. One is compare to and one is getters, right? So we'll be going with the getters as well as one method, sorry, compare to method, and getters will be making use of the getters within the meeting, this one within the meeting class. So these are the two classes. One is calendar booking system class main, which is the main class, which consists of the attribute meetings, and two methods. One is add meeting and get all meetings. So the second class, which is basically interlinked, the meeting class is interlinked with the calendar booking system, right? So here you can see the arrow mark here in this case. So we have two attributes within the meeting class. One is start and another one is end, right? So this one I'm speaking of. And meeting class consists of two this one methods as well. One method, one is compared to, and we'll be making use of the getters as well. So this is the high level overview. This is the UML diagram of this one calendar booking system. Basically this is the high level overview for the calendar booking system, right? I hope this is completely clear, easy to understand, right? Simple one. This is basically the simple one. So now what shall we do? We have discussed what are the things that we need to consider, and the UML diagram as well. The core classes, the two core classes. One is the main class calendar booking system, and another one is meeting. So what are the attributes that we need to consider? What are the this one methods that we need to consider within the core class, and should we consider the getters and setters? These things we have considered within this one, right? So within the UML diagram, this exact thing, let's implement or articulate the same thing in the form of code now, right? As we know the approach, as we have discussed this one via UML diagram, and also we have discussed the things to consider, it will be easier to write the code. So we will articulate the same thing, we will implement the same thing in the form of code now. So let's start writing the code now. So let's do one thing now. What shall we do? We have to import all the utility classes. We should be able to make use of tree set, right? Tree set, list, array list as well. So all these things, for all these things, we have to make use of all these things. Let's import the utility classes. So I'll just go with here import java util start. So this is fine. So the next step here is, let's go with the main class. Main class, which was the main class basically in the UML diagram, calendar booking system, right? So let's go with the main class that represents the calendar booking system. So here in this case, let me write public class calendar booking system. So it's, we got that one automatically, right? So this is fine. So this is the main class. So within the main class, so as we have already discussed, we will be making use of the tree set. So why we will be making use of the tree set? We have to store the meeting objects, right, in the sorted order by start time. Basically, by the start time, we have to store the meeting objects in the sorted order. That is the reason we'll be making use of the tree set here on this case, right? So I'll just go with here private tree set. So here within the tree set, so I'll just go with here meeting. So here tree set of, within the tree set, let me give meeting here. So I'll just go with, so just give me a second here. Yeah, meeting. So this is fine. So this will be meetings. So this is fine. So next what I'll do, we have to initialize, right? So for the initialization, let's go with the constructor. So I'll just give here public, the name of the class is calendar booking system, right? So this is fine. So within the constructor, what I'll do, so let's initialize the meetings. So this one will be new tree set of meeting. So this is fine, new tree set, that's it, right? So we don't have to pass meeting here in this case. This is fine. So why we are getting error here? This one meeting we have here, right? So just give me a second here. New tree set. This is fine. So let me come out of this this one constructor. Next what we will do, so what error we are getting here as well, required tree set of meeting. So this one, what's wrong here? Tree set of meeting, this is fine, right? This one is meetings, okay. meetings. So we are initializing this one to new trace. This is fine. So let's write for that. Let's see. Let's debug later. Basically, let's write the code. Next, what we'll do, we'll be making use of the method to add the meeting to the calendar. So we'll be going with the add meeting method, right? So we have already discussed this one. So I'll just go with public boolean. So add meeting. So within the add meeting method, so I need two parameters. One is start and one is end. Basically, we have discussed this one. We know this one. And start and end. This is fine. Within this method, so let's validate the input first. So this one, if start is greater than or equal to end, then we have to return false. Start should not be greater than or equal to end, right? Start should be smaller, right? Basically, we will be return. So we will return false in this case. So this is we are just validating the input here, right? So next one here, let's create a new meeting object with a given start and end time. So here in this case, let me go with we have the meeting type, right? So I'll just go with meeting here in this case. New meeting. So I'll just consider the variable name new meeting. So let's create the new meeting here. Why this is not showing in the suggestion? Not able to understand. So I'll just go with the start. Let me pass start and end as parameters here. This is fine. So let's find the meeting just before the new one. So this one will be again. So again, this is not showing. This is fine. Let me type this one. Because somewhere I have done wrong. I'm not getting where I have done wrong. Calendar booking system. So we have kept this one private. Okay, this is fine. Tree set. Meeting of meetings. So this is fine. Public this calendar booking system, we are initializing meetings, right? Meetings with new tree set. So this is also fine. Angle brackets we have done. This one is also fine. Completely fine. So what we have done wrong basically? Still I'm not getting it. So this is fine. So this will be let me consider the variable name floor here in this case. So let me go with meetings dot flow. Let's pass the new meeting here in this case. So this is fine. This is also fine. So next, after finding the meeting just before the new one, if it overlaps with the previous meeting, then we have to reject it. So it shouldn't overlap with the previous meeting, right? So if it is overlapping with the previous meeting, then we have to reject it. So let's write the simple if condition here. If floor not equal to null, floor end here, this one greater than start, then what we will do, we will return false in this case. So we will return false in this case, right? So after this step, we have to find the next meeting after the new one, right? We have to find the next meeting after the current one or after the new one. So this one, this is of the type meeting. This is fine. I think let me go with the variable name ceiling. So this will be relevant. So I'll just go with ceiling here. I'll just go with meetings dot ceiling I have given. Yeah, ceiling. Let's pass the new meeting here. This is fine. So let me delete this one. Let me delete this one as well. This is fine. So the next step here is if it overlaps with the next meeting, then also we have to reject it. If it overlaps with the previous meeting, then also we have to reject it. If it overlaps with the next meeting, then also we have to reject it. So I would have copied the same thing and made the necessary changes. This line, this one, if it overlaps with the previous meeting, then also we have to reject it, right? Here we are writing for the we are writing the code for if it overlaps with the next one, then also we have to reject it. So here in this case, if ceiling not equal to null and greater than ceiling start here, then what we will do, then also we have to return false. This is fine. I hope this is clear. So here in this case, what error we are getting? Cannot resolve the symbol start. So this is fine. In start we have given here. Why we cannot start ceiling not equal to null and end greater than ceiling dot start. This is fine. This has to work. Let's see further. So if no overlap, then we have to add to the set. So if there is no overlap, then we have to add this one to the set. So here on this case, meetings dot add here new. Let me pass the new meeting here. Let me give return boolean value true here on this case, right? So this is fine. Let me come out of this one. Next thing is we need a method to return all the scheduled meetings, right? So here we'll go with the name get all meetings. So we'll be making use of the method get all meetings here. So here in this case, I'll just go with public list. So within the list, within the angle brackets, let me give meeting. So this is fine, meeting. So I'm just going with the name get all meetings. So this is fine. Within the get all meetings method, what I'll do, so here let me return new array list here, new array list. So in this case, let me pass the meetings. So this is fine. We are just returning a list of all meetings here in this case, right? So this is fine. So let me come out of this one. So here let's go with the inner class that represents a meeting slot. When I say we are making use of the we'll be making use of the inner class representing this one meeting slot, we will be going with the implements keyword, right? So I'll just go with private static class. So this is meeting. So this one implements. So let's go with the comparable. So this is nothing but the comparable pattern that we are making use of, right? So if you know all the patterns, basically design patterns, we are making use of the comparable pattern here. So comparable, within the comparable, we are going with the meeting here. This is fine. So within this, so this is nothing but the inner class that represents a meeting slot. So within this one, I need two parameters. One is start and another one is end. So I'll just go with start and end. So this is fine. The next step, let's go with the initialization. Let's make use of the constructor to initialize the meeting times. So here, let me go with public meeting. So within the meeting, I have two parameters. One is start and another one is end, basically. This one will be this dot start. Let me initialize this one to start, and this dot end, let me initialize this one to end. This is fine. This is fine. So the next step here is we have to compare the meetings based on the start time. When I say we have to compare the meetings based on the start time, we'll be making use of the method compare to here, right? So here in this case, I'll go with public int compare to method. Let me pass the parameter other. I need the parameter other here on this case. So let me go with other parameter. So within this one, what we need to do, we are just comparing the meetings based on the start time, right? So here I'll go with return this dot start minus, so this one hyphen other dot start here in this case. This is fine. So let me come out of this method entirely, compare to method entirely. So so we will be making use of the toString method just for the we will be going with toString to make it easier to print the meeting info, right? Just for the sake of printing the meeting info easily, we will be overriding toString, or we'll be making use of the toString method. So here in this case, I'll go with public string. So this one, let me give here toString. This is fine. So within this method, what I'll do, let me go with return. So here within this one, so this is fine. What do we call for this one? Square bracket. So here we need the square bracket. Let me concatenate the start. Let me make use of the comma within the strings here. We need comma so that this looks good, and we need end. So I'll just concatenate the end as well. So we are trying to override toString just to make it easy to print the meeting info here, right? So we have opened the square brackets. Let's close the square brackets as well here in this case. So this is fine. So the let me just do one thing. Let's come out of this class, this entire class, basically, right? So I'll just come out of the method as well as the class, entire class here. So let's go with the main method now. So main method, by we have to demonstrate, we have to go with the demonstration as well as the testing, right? So we have to get the output based on certain input that we give. So that is the reason we have written the code. We have to show certain output. For that reason, we'll be going with the main method just for the sake of demonstration as well as the testing. So this is the last problem that we are solving in this playlist. So this is the last problem that we'll be solving in this playlist. So by this time you should be knowing, right? So these things. So let's write the main method. So here in this case, let me give public static void main. So here in this case, just give me a second here. String args arguments. So within this one, what I'll do, I'll just make use of the calendar booking system. So I'll just make use of the variable CBS, nothing but the calendar booking system itself. Let's create new calendar booking system. We don't have to pass anything. This is fine. So next thing is we have to print certain thing, right? So here in this case, let me do one thing. Let me give S out here. We have considered CBS as variable, right? So I'll just go with CBS. So we have the add meeting method. So this has to be CBS, not BS. So this is fine. CBS dot add add meeting is not showing. Yeah, add meeting is showing. This is fine. So let me pass here 10, 20. Right. So let me pass here 10, 20. Let me do one thing. Let's copy the same thing here and make the necessary changes. Some 4 to 5 times. Let's go with 4 more times or 5 more times, however you are convenient with. So we have to go with the output that gives us true as well as false, right? So in this case, let's give the meeting that overlaps, basically. Let me give here 15, 25. In this case, it overlaps, right? So we have to get the output false for the second one. So for the third one, it shouldn't overlap. Let's go with the true here in this case. Let me give 20, 30 here in this case. So for the fourth one, let's give 5 to 10. So this is also fine here. The final one, let's give for the let's go with the false. Basically here this has to give the false means 8, 12. Something 8, 12, 13, that overlaps basically, right? So here see, we have the numbers, digits here 10, 20. This overlaps, right? We have considered 15, 25. 15 comes between 10 and 20. So this overlaps with the previous meeting. So we have to get the output false here in this case, right? So here the third one we have got 20 and 30. So don't get confused here. The edge timing 20 and 20, if we have the same number, this is not overlapping with the previous one. We are just considering the previous meeting and the next one, right? So we are not considering the first one with the third one. We are not comparing the first one with the third one. All right. So this doesn't overlap. So next, this has to give true. First and third one has to give true. Second one we have to get the boolean value false for the second one. Fourth one here in this case, we have the value 5, 10. We have the value 5, 10 here in this case. When I say 5, 10 here, just give me a second here. So here we have the 10 here. We cannot we are not comparing with the we are just comparing with the previous one, right? This doesn't overlap. We are not considering the first one or the second one here in this case. This doesn't overlap, so we have to get the output true. And this one, cbs.add meeting, we have given 8 and 12. 8 comes between 5 and 10, right? It overlaps with the previous this one values, right? So here in this case, we have to get the output false for the fifth one. So the output that we need to get here is true, false, true, true, and false. True, false, true, true, false. We have to get this one as output, right? So let's do one thing. Along with this, let's also print all the scheduled meetings, right? Let's also print all the scheduled meetings. Means in this case, whatever the true we got, let's print the same as output. Along with the boolean value, let's print all the scheduled meetings, basically, which we got true. In this case, 1, 3, and 4 we got true, right? Second one and fifth one will be false because that is overlapping. When it is overlapping, when the meetings are overlapping with the previous one, we have to show that one as false. So we are designing for the calendar booking system, calendar based booking system, right? So here in this case, we have to get the output false for the second one and fifth one. 1, 3 and 4. Let's display 1, 3 and 4 basically here. So here, let's do one thing. Let's print all the scheduled meetings here in this case. So I'll just go with S out here. Let me give scheduled meetings. Let me give the scheduled meetings here in this case. This is fine. Yep. So this one is string, right? Let me close this one. So now this has to work. So here in this case, let me make use of the for loop, simple for loop here. So this will be meeting M. So this one will be CBS. We are considering individual meeting. So CBS from the get all meetings, right? So this one is get all meetings. This is it. So within the for loop, what we need to mention, we need to print the individual meetings that gave the boolean value true. So I'll just go with here S out here. Let's pass the M. That's it. This is it, right? So let me format the code once. So this is it for the code. Let's see whether we have any error. Don't have any error right here, except this one output example. This is fine. This basically works. This doesn't matter. So yeah, everything looks fine. So here in this case, I want to discuss the output again. So here in this case, again I'm telling. So here we have given the input 10, 20. So this overlaps. This comes between 10 to 20. So we have the value 15 here, right? So for the second one, we have to get the output false. We are comparing the current one with the previous one, right? We are comparing the current one with the previous one. So here in this case, for the third one, we have the value 20 and 30. So 20 and 30 doesn't this one overlap with the previous one. So here in this case, we have to get the output true. Same goes with the fourth one. We have to get the output true. For the fifth one, see here, the value 8 comes between the 5 and 10. So this overlaps basically. This overlaps. So we have to get the boolean value false here. In this case, we have to get the output true, false, true, true, false. And this one, we are trying to print the same thing here. What are the output that we got true that we are trying to display in the form of output? So here in this case, we have to get 10, 20, 20, 30, 5, 10. Nothing but first one, third one, and fourth one. Let's see the same thing here. Let me hit the run button. So let's try running the code here. Let's wait for some time. So you can clearly see here, for the first one, we are getting true. For the second one, we are getting false. For the third one, true. Fourth one, true. Fifth one, false. So the scheduled meetings that got passed basically 5, 10, 10, 20, 20, 30. Nothing but here 5, 10, 10, 20. This one, just give me a second here. 5, 10, 10, 20. So this we have to get in the sorted order. They have given in the question. This we have to get in the sorted order. So we are getting this one in the sorted order. So while writing this one, I didn't mention this one. Basically, this we have to get in the sorted order means ascending order, right? So here this 5, 10 is coming first here. This we are showing first. So second one here 10, 20. So here this one. First one, third one, and fourth one, we have to show this one in the form of output, right? 5, 10, 10, 20, and then 20, 30. Third one, 1, 3, and 4. So these three things we are getting correctly. Basically, in the sorted order, we are getting, right? So the code works absolutely correct in this case. So whatever the code that we have written accordingly with the question, this code works absolutely correct. We are getting the desired output, right? So whatever the output that we decide, we are getting the desired output. So the code works absolutely perfect in this case. So as the code works absolutely perfect, so next what we'll do, let's discuss the complexities for the code that we have written. Let's discuss the complexities for the code that we have written. Then after discussing the complexities, let's discuss the final thing, this one, future scope or the extensions, right? So we have to always remember one thing. We have to keeping in mind the future, we have to keep in mind this one about the future scope or the extensions, right? At any cost, we have to keep in mind about this one future, this one scope or the extensions. Keeping in mind about those things itself, we have to write the code. Just keep this in mind. Now let's discuss the complexities and then finally discuss this one. What do we call future scope or the extensions, right? So here in this case, for the add meeting method, the time complexity is big of logarithmic n. So we are going with the we are considering complexities for the add meeting method here. The time complexity is big of logarithmic n. Just look into the code. So why it is big of logarithmic n? Because we are making use of the tree set, and we know that tree set insertion, we are going with the tree set insertion with the binary search. So the binary search, right? For the time complexity of the binary search basically is logarithmic n. You should be knowing the binary search in this one, right? So the time complexity is quite obviously because logarithmic n here. So let's go with the second one here, get all meetings method. So for the get all meetings method, just look into your code. So here in this case, the time complexity is big of n. So why it is big of n? Because we are iterating through all the meetings, right? So we were iterating through all the meetings while we wrote the code, if you remember, in the get all meetings method, right? So let's come to the space complexity here. In this case, space complexity for the whole code is big of n, because we are storing n meetings in the tree set. So we are storing n meetings in the tree set here, storing n meetings in the tree set. So the time complexity is quite obviously big of n here in this case, right? So the time complexity for the add meeting method is this one, big of logarithmic n. The time meeting for get all meetings method is big of n here, and the space complexity for the entire code is big of n, because we are storing n meetings in the tree set. So let's come to the, I hope complexities are completely clear, easy to understand, right? So now let's discuss the future scope, right? Let's discuss the future scope. So here in this case, the first one is multi-user calendar. So when I say multi-user calendar, so we have to be able to map based on the user ID. Means tree set of meetings I'm saying here. This one, tree set of meetings. So this one we have to keep in mind while we write the code, right? We have kept in mind and written the code. So this one we have to keep in mind. So this is nothing but multi-user calendar. So let's go with the second one here, deletion of meetings. When I say deletion of meetings, we should be able to support delete meeting. So we should be able to support, we should go with, in the future we should be able to delete the meeting as well, right? In future we should be able to add this one, start comma end. So this one also we have to keep in mind. So recurring meetings, the third one is recurring meetings here. When I say recurring meetings here, in this case we should add rule based recurrence logic. We should be able to add the rule based recurrence logic. This is fine, not that much important, but this is fine. Next one comes the notifications here. Notifications here in this case, we can go with the observer pattern or event dispatch system here for the notifications, right? So previously we have designed the notification system. So you should be having the idea of the notification system by now, right? So here in this case, we can make use of the observer pattern, or we can just go with the event dispatch system as well for the notifications part, right? So let's come to the final step here. Here GUI, REST API. So whatever I have written here, graphical user interface or the REST APIs here. So we should be able to wrap it with the Spring Boot or front end interface here in this case, GUI or the REST API, whatever I have given here, right? REST API, GUI or the REST API. So here in this case, we should be able to wrap it with Spring Boot or the front end interface. So this is one thing, right? These are the things that we need to keep in mind. So now we have successfully discussed the complexities as well as the future scope. So one more thing. Now we have completely solved the design problem. This one, calendar booking system, calendar based booking system, right? So first thing what we did, we discussed the question. Then we went with the we went on discussing this one. What did we discuss? UML diagram as well as this one, things to consider. First we went with things to consider, then we went with the UML diagram. So based on the things to consider, whatever the things we need to consider, and the UML diagram consisted of the core classes as well as the this one, that was just the high level overview, right? So core classes, along with the within the class we had certain attributes as well as the methods. Based on that itself we have implemented in the form of code. So after discussing UML diagram and the things to consider, what we did, we wrote the code completely based on UML diagram, right? So the attributes and the methods that we considered within the code is completely that itself we had already discussed in the UML diagram. So after writing the code, what we did, we discussed the complexities. We discussed the complexities for the code that we have written for the particular methods, right? Important methods. So that we did. Finally, we discussed the future scope. Future scope, basically we should have discussed this one earlier, but this is fine. So based on these things, just now we discussed this one, right? These things we have to keep in mind before writing the code, right? So before writing the code, these things we have to keep in mind and then write the code. We should be able to support the multi-user calendar, deletion of meetings, recurring meetings, notifications, as well as GUI bar REST API. Means we should be able to wrap it and Spring Boot with Spring Boot or the front-end interface. When I say a GUI bar REST API, graphical user interface or REST API. So now we have successfully solved the design problem. This one, calendar booking system. So basically this was the last problem this is the last problem in this particular playlist. We have successfully solved the 10 problems, right? So we have successfully solved the 10 problems, and we have solved some 15 problems using JavaScript, as we considered JavaScript as the programming language. Basically we had already solved around 15 problems, or 15 problems in exact, right? So we had already solved 15 problems. So now we have solved around 25 problems, basically design problems, right? So now we have solved around 25 problems, not around 25 problems, 25 problems itself. We have solved 25 problems. Basically we have two playlists. Whichever programming language you are this one comfortable with, you can just go with it, right? So here this one we have made use of the this one Java. 10 problems we have solved with the Java. So this one core logic remains same. So if you make use of the programming language, doesn't matter. So any programming language you can pick and you can just solve the problem, right? So I had mainly worked on the this one as a Java full stack developer. So mainly I have worked on the React and Node initially, nothing but React and Express. This one, a bit of Angular also in the beginning. So mainly on the front end I have worked on React and Angular, and on the back end I had worked mainly on the Express as well as the Spring Boot project. So I have solved this one design problems using the programming languages JavaScript as well as the Java. So there are several playlists, so you can just go through that. So we when it comes to system design, so we went with this one. We are having the playlist for solid principles, oops and solid principles, design patterns, and we have solved some problems using the Java and JavaScript, right? Java and JavaScript as the programming languages. This we did, and we have solved n number of problems using the JavaScript. This one, data structure problems. I'm speaking of DSA problems, LeetCode problems. This one, Codeforces as well. We have solved n number of problems, right? Using considering this one, JavaScript and Java as the programming languages. You can just check any playlist, right? Whatever the programming languages that you're comfortable with, you can just check that one. So for now, this is it. I thought of doing till here. So what I'll do, so I'll not be doing anything until I get a job. Means further. So for the next 20 days or 1 month, if I don't get job, I'll start with let's get started with the React and Angular on the front end. Let's learn React and Angular. So let's discuss the React and Angular on the front end part, and let's discuss the Express as well as this one, Express.js or the Node.js, and the Spring Boot on the back end. So mainly I have worked on 3 databases. One is MySQL, MS SQL, as well as the MongoDB. So we can just go with any of the databases, right? So we will discuss on the same things. So until I get the job, I'll not be doing anything. If I don't get the job in the next 1 month, so let's do one thing. Let's start with the React and Angular on the front end. So, and on the back end, we'll be going with the Spring Boot as well as this one, Express, along with the databases, any databases, right? So this is what I'm thinking of, right? So we have successfully solved the 10 problems. What I'll do now, I'll just this one, upload the same thing on the GitHub. You can just get the code, right? So you can just get the code for the 10 problems that we solved, right? So yeah, for now this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.